Hey, I'm ChristopherJMUA and welcome back to my channel. Unless you've never been here, of course, then welcome. I'm so glad you've stopped by. Today, we're going to be reviewing the Midas Cosmetics x TheBasicB Perception Palette. Ever since I saw the initial launch of this palette, I've been so excited to open it up and jump into it. So let's go ahead and not waste any time and jump right in. Before we jump into the video, I'd like to give a special thanks to today's video sponsor. Dossier creates high-quality fragrances without the jaw-dropping price tags. There are a ton of fragrances available from Dossier, all of which being inspired by fragrances you guys already know and love. Fragrances like Lancome's La Vie Est Belle, Tom Ford's Soleil Blanc, and Chanel's Coco Mademoiselle. And that's just 3 of many choices. But that's not even the best thing about Dossier. One of the best things, in my opinion, is the 30-day risk-free return policy. You can get any scent you want, try it out within that first 30 days, and if you decide you don't like it, send it right back. No questions asked, get your money back, leaving you free to try as many fragrances as you want until you can find the one that's perfect for you. Now, not only did Dossier partner with me on this portion of today's video, but they also gave me a code for you guys to use for 10% off. It's just Chris10, and that is also stackable with the 20% off discount that you get for your initial first purchase from the Dossier website, letting you save up to 30%. You can find more information if you follow the link down in the description box for the Dossier's website. That's not an affiliated link, it's just a link to take you straight there. And again, I want to thank the team at Dossier for partnering with me on this portion of today's video, and without further ado, let's get started. So here is the front of the unit carton that the palette comes in. It's got the words Midas Cosmetics x TheBasicB and Perception printed on the front, and it looks like the words are an image as well. Then if we flip it over, it's got Perception eyeshadow palette printed on top, as well as an ingredient list and some information about the palette, as well as social media links down below. Then if we take the unit carton off, we are greeted by the front of the palette, which is miraculous. Look at that galaxy, or whatever it is. It's really neat, and it's the same image as what the letters are made of on the front of the unit carton. And here are the letters embossed into the galaxy print, and it's almost like the unit carton took the letters off. It's so neat. I just love that. And then the back of the palette says the same thing, that it's the Midas Cosmetics x TheBasicB collaboration. Now let's open up the palette and see what she looks like on the inside. Wow, that's actually a lot more colorful than I thought it was gonna be. I thought it was full of like dark and deep sort of, well, these tones. I thought it was full of those tones. It's much more versatile than that. Awesome, okay. Well, I would really love to see this color story spread out and a little broken up, so I'm going to go ahead and zoom you guys in so that we can get started on the swatches. The first shade is the shade Quasar. Evolve. Motive. Reality. Implode. Inspire. Infinite. Open mind. Perplex. Restless. Natural. Quantum. Psyche. Existence. Fusion, Dark Matter, and Curious. And there we have it. There's every single shade from the Midas Cosmetics x TheBasicB Perception Eyeshadow Palette. As always, I will insert photos of the swatches, one with flash here, and one without flash here. And here's a video close-up of all of the swatches together. To kick things off, I did go ahead and prime my eyes with my Gerard Cosmetics Clean Canvas Eye Base in the shade Medium. And now I'm going to begin with this pointed Morphe blender brush. It's the Morphe M200. Very, very pointy, but still fluffy. And I'm going to go into the shade Perplex. I am so excited to use this shade. It is such a beautiful blue. Oh, that's so pretty! Wow, it is so bright. Oh my gosh, before I move on with the eyeshadow, I forgot that I completely wanted to read this little card that came in the box. It's from Midas Cosmetics and TheBasicB. It's a quote from Bianca, which is who TheBasicB is. Perception, which is the name of the palette. Noun, the tool we use to interpret and understand. A sensory experience of the external world. And then it has a message from @TheBasicB. Hey, I'm so happy this baby made it into your hands. Midas and I are giving you a diverse selection of thought-provoking, inspiring mattes and shimmers. 20 shades meant to stimulate and incite your creativity. Applying color to my face is a way I've found to relate to the creative world around, subtle or bold. Color is everything to me. Thank you so much for purchasing our creation. I hope you enjoyed this palette as much as I do. I was actually going to read that before I ever started putting shadow on, but I completely forgot. Better late than never. Next, I'm going to use this other teeny tiny pointed blender brush. It's another Morphe brush, and I'm going to go into the shade Open Mind. And Open Mind is going to be used to transition from the blue to the inner corner. So I'm just going to start throwing this right here-ish. Oh, these are such beautiful shades. They're so bright and pigmented and pretty. Oh my goodness, but there is a ton of fallout. I didn't see that the first time, and now I'm looking under here and holy cow, it's Fallout City, so be careful. There's also a lot of kickback in the pan with this shade too. It's okay though. That's why I do my eyes first. That way I can avoid all of the crazy messes I make by building on way too much shadow way too fast. Love that. I'm going to use this Morphe M562 really diffused blender brush and go into the shade Life and blend out Open Mind with Life a little bit on the outer edges of it and probably pull it up and out into my brow bone as well. I'm just going to kind of have to play around with the colors and the blending during that time so I can figure out what direction I'm going to go with, because I'm kind of at a loss for that right now. Okay, I'm feeling bold, bright, and beautiful. This is a perfect color combo. I love this. It's so fun. But now I'm going to deepen it up a little bit and make it a little more vampy. So I'm going to go with this other Morphe pointed blender brush. It's kind of just like the M200. Actually, I think it's really close to the M200, but it's slightly smaller. And now I'm going to go into the shade Restless. Now, Restless is going to be used to start deepening up this teal on the outer edge. Then I'll start pulling it in as well. So I'll kind of just deepen the whole crease. I think that's it now for matte shadows. Time to go in with some shimmer, maybe. So I'm going to start with the Morphe X Jersey JS11 flat brush, and I'm going to go into the shade Psyche. Except that is obviously not going to work without a tacky base or a wet brush because it just put a little bit of glitter on my eye. So let me try and use my finger instead. See if I can get it to become at least somewhat opaque. Ooh, it's such a gorgeous shade. Wow. That is one of the coolest duochromes I think I've ever used. Because from this side over here, it literally just looks pink. And that's it. But from the front and the other side, it's like a blue-based green. So it halfway matches this look perfectly. And then the other half is completely different. It's so magical. Now I'm going to use this Morphe X Madison Beer brush, another flat brush, but this one happens to be very teeny tiny. And I'm going to go into the shade Motive, and hopefully that one will pick up with a brush a little bit better than Psyche. And I'm just going to put that right here on the inner corner of the lid. I'm also going to take a little bit of Motive and slide it right on the highest point of the brow bone. Oh yeah. Do you see that magic? Do you believe in magic? So now I'm just gonna take the big fluffy pointed brush that I was using earlier in the shade Restless, go back into the shade Restless, just a tiny bit, clean up this edge here. Then I'm also gonna grab it on this outer edge and just very gently and lightly pull it down and in on the outer corner. That way the transition between the shimmer and the matte will be just a little less abrupt. I believe I am now at an acceptable time to go ahead and clean all of this messy mess up and make it look like at least somewhat of a presentable look so that I can go ahead and put all my face makeup on. So I'm gonna go ahead and do all that off camera, clean it up, get my lashes, brows, lips done. Then I'll come back and we can finish off the lower lash line. Then I'll come back and we can finish off the lower lash line. So I'll see you guys in just a second. So I've now gotten the majority of the look done. Now let's finish off this lower lash line. So I'm gonna start out by using this Luxie 221 flat definer brush, and I'm gonna go into the shade Implode first. And that shade's gonna go right on the lower lash line on the outer corner. And I'm gonna keep it just to the outer half because that shade is really, really dark. And now, using the same brush that I used in the shade Restless previously, I'm gonna go back in to the shade Restless and I'm gonna start to blend out Implode on the outer edge with Restless up toward the middle, but I'm not gonna take it all the way to the inner corner yet. Now, using the same Morphe M562 that I used in the shade Life earlier, I'm gonna go back in to the shade Life just for continuity purposes. You guys know me. And Life here is gonna get stacked up right in this inner portion of the lower lash line very carefully, because the bristles of this brush are bigger than I anticipated. And then I'm going to pull that shade all the way down and around and continue it all the way back over here so I can blend out the hard line of the green, but also sort of just give it a little bit more continuity all the way around. Ooh, that is gorgeous. Oh, speaking of gorgeous, by the way, I also used my Midas Cosmetics Noon face palette for a base blush and highlighter. Then I went in with the shade Infinite as a blush on top of my blush to kind of just bring the color story more toward the palette. And then I used the shade Motive here, the one that I used more in the inner corner in the brow bone highlight, as my highlight over the Noon face palette highlight. And those two together were perfect, literal perfection. And it kind of just brought the color story together. You know, I love doing that any chance I get. Is it weird that I sort of love the fact that I look like I'm decaying around my eyes? Is it weird that I like that it resembles zombie makeup? Is that weird? I don't think that's weird, right? Anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and go off camera, finish putting on my Essence Lash Princess False Lash Effect Waterproof Mascara on my lower lashes, and I'll be right back to give my final thoughts on the Midas Cosmetics X TheBasicB Perception Palette. So I'll see you guys in like kind of one more second. This palette is actually really beautiful. The Midas Cosmetics formula is here to play. Now, I don't know who TheBasicB is. I have not met this person, nor have I seen any of their social media or what they've created. So I don't know if the color story is meant to fit their personality, if it's meant to just be a representation of an idea, not really sure, but I do have to say that I like it. Now obviously I used quite a bit of the greens within the color story. Actually, I used 2 greens. They just went a really long way. You wouldn't think I started this entire look with a blue. Either way though, that just shows that this palette can be so versatile. Anyway guys, that is enough from me for this video. I hope you enjoyed my review of the Midas Cosmetics Perception palette. If you did, it would mean the world to me if you wanted to give me a thumbs up just to let me know that you enjoyed it. It does help me understand what type of content you guys enjoy, as well as helps me to continue to make the kind of content that you guys will actually want to watch. Also, if you like this look and you want to see more looks like them, you can follow me on Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat, and TikTok. My username is the same for everything. It's just ChristopherJMUA. And if you gain nothing out of this video, if you gain nothing out of any of my videos, please at least gain this. And that is to always remember and to never forget that you are absolutely beautiful. And I love you guys. Bye.